Hey everybody, this is Savannah and this is Safari Savvy. This is my first episode and this is all to do about mites. This is treating mites, preventing mites, and this is a tutorial of how to take care of mites. So the first thing you're going to need two different sprays. You're going to need a mite spray for the animal. This is a reptile spray. It actually kills mites on reptiles. You can order that online or at your local pet store. My local pet store is Pinellas County Reptiles. And then we have Prevenamite, and that's actually for the enclosure. There's some rules to be had with both of these. So the only other thing you're going to need is you're going to need something for your animal to go in temporarily for about a half hour to an hour, depending on how you feel about it. I'm personally going to be using this pillowcase for the boa. So this is the pillowcase for the boa. We have Roxy the boa here. She's in her enclosure. And the first thing I'm actually going to do is when we're Prevenamiting, we have to remove the water dish. You don't want to leave the water dish to collect any of the chemicals in there for the animal to drink. So you're going to leave the water dish out, and you actually have to leave the water dish out for 24 hours. The spray itself is fine for the animal to go back into the enclosure within a half hour to an hour. I like to wait an hour, but for the water dish, you're going to wait 24 hours. So before we put beautiful Roxy in a bag, we're going to get our mite spray out for the reptile, and we're going to make sure that we spray her really good. Mites really like to go into the eyes, so you want to make sure that we're spraying her really good right there in the eyes. It's not going to hurt her, doesn't harm her. This is actually Natural Chemistry is the brand for the reptile spray. And again, you can get that at your local pet shop or you can get that online. And typically it runs anywhere from about $10. I've seen it like $15 somewhere. But you want to make sure that that's all over her, and then you want, well, or your male, whichever. But that's all over her, and even though she's head shy, we're going to rub that all the way in, and we're going to rub that all the way down her body. Come on, Roxy, be a good volunteer here. She's one of the nicer boas that we have. She's younger. So here you go. She's still not liking it, so I'm going to put her up in her beautiful pillowcase. And we're only going to leave her in there for a half hour to an hour. Again, that's just depending on your liking. They say after a half hour is fine. I prefer to wait an hour. And I'm just going to tie that up. And I have a tote off to the left of the camera there. And this is her enclosure now. So we've removed the water dish. Again, you're always going to remove the water dish. She's got her hide here. Now I prefer to move the hide because I'm going to spray behind it. And what you're going to do is you're going to shake this up. It's an aerosol can. And I like to get all the corners and the top and the bedding really good. And then I'm going to put her hide on its side. And I'm going to spray inside the hide because it can get into the wood. And then I'm going to spray the outside and just do a quick spray. She's got a log in there. So it's up to you. You can leave it open, but that means that all of those fumes are kind of coming out. So a lot of people like to close the enclosure. And you're going to be all set. That's quick treatment. It's really easy, really fast. You can do it as a maintenance. You can do it monthly or every 3 months, or if you have an outbreak or can see it. But I think it's better to treat beforehand to make sure that they're not going to get it. That way you don't have to deal with anything like that. I know it was really hard for my friend to lose his pet pretty suddenly, and he's trying to investigate how it even got into his house. But he's got other snakes and he's super worried about it. So I think preventative treatment is way better than having to treat after they actually get it. And if the animal does get it, so if your snake does have mites and you're treating for mites, I would not just do one treatment. I would do that over and over again. What my rule of thumb is every 2 weeks, and I would do that for about 6 weeks. So every 2 weeks I would do this Prevenamite treatment, and then I let that go for 6 weeks, and hopefully after that you've knocked it down, because it only takes 1 or 2 for them to reinfest. So it's really best to kind of treat it hard and get it over with. Again, I like the Prevenamite spray. Again, I got that at my local pet shop, but you can get them online. And then that's the Natural Chemistry Reptile Spray. It is natural product. It works really well. It's actually just basically a mild acid and a detergent, but it's done in a safe manner, really easy to use. Definitely recommend doing that. Mites are a big deal. They can cause major damage, and they definitely aren't fun for your animal. Things to look out for if you suspect that your animal might have mites. Well, check them. Look around the eyes, because that's where the mites are typically going to be. And then also, a sign that your animal might have mites is, I know that they like to soak a little bit when they're shedding, but if you have a snake that's always wanting to soak, that's always in their water dish, that is a sign that they have mites. They feel it and they're trying to get rid of them. The water does kind of help drown them, but it doesn't definitely get rid of them at all, like these two things. So these are my tips. If you have any questions, shoot on the comments below. I would definitely like to answer them. This is my first video. Thank you guys. I'm Savannah. This is Safari Savvy. This is episode 1, all about mites. Thank you so much.